The lecture explored many facets and kinds of addictions and depression and the way people cope with those things. And in my work with people at the parish level, we really left the recovery part of that to the experts. So I can't claim to have any expertise in that at all. I saw it as our role as staff and ministry people to really welcome and integrate people, because as it's been stated in a lot of ways, it's all about broken relationships and filling that gap, which is difficult. You know, as I think I said in a previous video, we come from love, we're returning to love, and love is rescuing us every step of the way. But love reaches through each one of us, that in so many ways we have to focus our efforts on being Christ to one another, seeing through the eyes of Christ, so that when we look into the eyes of our neighbor, we see Christ, and we hope that they see Christ in us. It's difficult because people have not been loved. There's a scarcity of love on the planet, of real, generous, unconditional love. So it's difficult for us to understand what it means when we say those powerful words that God is love, or that God is near, and that people, you know, I say to people, you are God's idea. He created you to always be. We like happy endings, but God likes beginnings with no endings. And so he intends for us to be with him forever. And so I have this little exercise that I sometimes have people do. I say, repeat after me, God really loves me. And they will say that, God really loves me. And then we go through it again and we focus on, we put emphasis on different words each time. So we say, God really loves me. God really loves me. God really loves me. God really loves me. So this is a kind of meditation. If we can sort of get that to sink all the way in, if we could get that to sink all the way in to our being, we would see ourselves differently and we would behave differently. I was going to do something, I hope this is okay, a little bit different this time. This is a poem that I wrote. That's what I really like to do. I'm really a poet. That I wrote a long time ago after I had an experience of just this, that God really loves me. And it was a powerful moment, and it helped me to see that God can work through us. The Spirit can work through us and help us to see, just glimpse this phenomenal fact of us in an instant. This was a moment that happened to me personally a long time ago when I was in spiritual direction with a priest, and he said something to me that changed the way I saw myself and all of the people around me, and that was a God moment. And so I hope it's okay to read poetry for this video. The poem is called Noesis, with thanks to Father Don. I realized he saw clearly something I'd never seen and never would know except for this, as he paused to mimic the sound of rushing mighty wind as he said it, his hand curled up to his mouth to amplify breath, and I felt my eyes narrow, as if I would read the next phrase rising behind his eyes. What a beautiful thing God did, he said. What a beautiful thing God did when he breathed life into you, when he filled you with the Holy Spirit, contentment rising upwards through his face and beaming out as if he were looking down on Eden, enjoying your own satisfaction in seeing that it was good. For one suspended moment, it seemed that you yourself, having interrupted the perpetual molecular swirling of air lest it ignite at your gaze, were peering down from your timeless rain of light and past all the dark matter in the universe to this a pyrogenic sphere, reaching past every age of man and beast to me, here, now, and seeing again that it is good. Telling me so, because I need to know, and I never would know except for this brief sentence, prompted by some enlivened neuron in another brain, a brain practiced in seeing through your eyes and seeing what you would say. It is good, isn't it? It is beautiful. Your idea of me, your plan for me, your love for me in spite of me, and other similar things that I know weakly at my fingertips, like a strange railing in the dark, or the epileptoid scribbling of a fly on the air, things I weakly know and that I store in the clear coffer of memory where I hold the brief engilding of the sky when I was 6, hold that crude glimmer of sky-born grace that burned holes into me, holding it lightly in the center of the chest. I struggle to gather this burning glimmer in, to know it fully and not let it go this time, not let go. My brain aches to dust to absorb this thing I cannot see, to be saturated with it until the excess falls like great heaving teardrops that I cannot escape, so that every thought is filled with this, every desire drowned by it, every action just the next thing I do to maintain the brimming balance of my skull and not let go. Not let go of this thing, this thread of cloud across an impossibly oversized sky, this intangible, luminous thread that reaches up toward Dante's vision, but that might be smeared beyond rain with one careless breath. I struggle to hold on to this edge, to gather it in, to find new eyes to study and remember every glowing fiber as I gather it in until I know every thread, selvage to selvage, and then to enshroud myself in its layers and make it all mine. I need to know this. I know the words, I am me because you willed it that way, and your will is good and true and beautiful. But how can I know and not let go? How can I know it in the penetralia mentis where it becomes what I am? Because it is what I am, but I need to know this beyond words, beyond a fistful. I need to know it in every cell and interstitial space, need to know it like the sound of rain or the density of air or the weight of my rosary beads or the rhythm of my mind, that you loved me before the world was, you love me now, you will love me forever, and that you created me and filled me with your spirit to be holy and blameless in your sight, and all you do is good and beautiful, even me. How can I know this and not let go? It's a longer poem than I remembered, but I think it captures that moment that we realize really who and what we are, and that our space in the cosmos is infinitesimally small, but our place in God's heart is disproportionately large, and that should change everything. If we really grasp that and grasp that truth, that it's true about every person, we become affirming to them in every way, and we begin to help others appreciate who and what they really are. Children of God, loved by Him, and that should not only affect the way we interact with them, but open them to the possibility that they are lovable. And in that, we open ourselves to true encounter with one another and a true encounter with love itself, with God Himself, so that we don't need the crutches. That doesn't mean that the crutches disappear instantaneously. That's a beautiful grace when it happens, but our growing in that relationship, of course, always takes time. But if we all can hold up the hope of sparking that within other people, I think the only way to spark that, I guess is what I wanted to say, the only way to spark that glimmer in other people is to truly, truly love them. But we can't give what we don't have. We have to possess ourselves in that love and entrust ourselves to that love first. So I'm loving this format, Professor Paget, and I'm really enjoying hearing other people's videos as well. And I hope that it was okay to read a poem here on our video. I pray for all of you, and I appreciate your prayers for me as well. God bless.